Hello, guys. Welcome to Reddit Uncovered. Hope you all are good, and before we jump to today's stories, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button below. Also, let me know in the comments on which stories you guys want me to work, and the next video will be on that. Let's get started. First of all, happy Mother's Day to all the mums out there, and I hope this day actually makes you feel special. Now, let's jump to the first story of the day, and the title says, Am I the asshole for joking that my dad gets a perpetual period in front of friends and family? I, 19F, was at a family dinner with my dad, my younger sister, my older sister who was visiting, and one of my dad's friends, along with his wife and son. At one point, my dad started joking with his friend about how lucky he was to have a son because living with women is apparently so difficult. Even though both me and my older sister already moved out for college/work and are barely home now. He started making comments about how women get moody and miserable on their periods and how the whole house atmosphere changes. He was saying it in a joking tone, not screaming or anything, but he says this kind of stuff pretty often. His friend then said he thanks the Lord every day for that. So I replied in basically the same joking tone that honestly, if he had a son exactly like him, it would probably be worse because he's moody and irritable all the time already. So it's like he's permanently on his period. His friend laughed immediately and his wife laughed too. Then his wife joked, "Oh, don't laugh, you're like that too." I also pointed out that I honestly don't even think what he says is true. I do sports while on my period. My sisters are both pretty chill too. And most of the time when there was tension at home, it was usually him starting arguments and then blaming it on women hormones if we reacted badly. Anyway, after dinner, my dad told me I embarrassed and insulted him in front of his friend. He said it was rude and disrespectful to compare a man to having a period. He also said his friend group takes pride in being masculine/manly, and I made him look weak. I honestly thought we were all joking around equally, and if he can make jokes about women being impossible because of periods, then I don't see why I can't joke back about him acting moody too. That's a NTA in my opinion, and I feel like your dad overreacted a bit. Like it was a time of gathering, and while he was joking, and you cracked a joke, so what difference does it make? Everyone was enjoying the moment, so it's totally fine. And by the reaction of your dad's friend and his wife, it clearly seems that they took it as a joke too, and nothing serious. I guess maybe your dad didn't like that you cracked a joke on him. That's why he said all that stuff. But I don't think what you did was a bit too much of something. That was my take, and I could be wrong too. So you guys can share your opinions in the comment section below. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'll move to the next one. Am I the asshole for telling my husband his friend isn't welcome in our home after he involved her in our argument and said he trusts her more than me? The first red flag I saw in the title is that he said he trusts her friend more than you. No husband or wife should say that. I don't know the whole story yet, but that's the first thing I noted. Let's continue to the whole story. Then I'll share my opinion. My husband has a longtime friend, let's call her Anne, from his school days. She's actually a nice person, and I don't have any personal issue with her. The three of us used to hang out quite a bit. Recently, my husband and I argued about me forgetting to turn off the stove knob. We had just moved into a new place, and somehow I forgot a few times. I understand that it's serious, and I genuinely made an effort to be more careful. But during the argument, my husband panicked and called Anne to vent. I could literally hear him inviting her to come stay at our house, which we both pay for, while he was away for a week. He also told her to take a set of keys and check that everything was turned off. At one point, I heard her ask, "Is she mentally disturbed? Why does she forget it?" I let that slide at the time, assuming it was just him venting to a friend. Later, I told him it wasn't right to bring our private arguments to a third person. Instead of understanding, he got defensive and said if I hadn't been so irresponsible, he wouldn't have called her. Then he added that he trusted her more than me. That really stuck with me. The week he was away, I got sick for most of it. Despite that, he kept asking if I had invited Anne over and when I was going to hang out with her. I don't like conflict, so I said I'd reach out when I felt better. When I finally did, she canceled last minute. After all of this, I told my husband that Anne is not welcome in our house anymore. He's free to continue his friendship with her, just not in our shared space. This became a bigger issue because she was visiting with her boyfriend, and it mattered to him. Then his mother got involved. She always does. Her take was that I should have brought this up at a better time, not during another argument. As part of resolving things, I was expected to stop talking to one of my own friends because she had yelled at my husband when he was complaining about me. Apparently, that was disrespectful, and I should have defended him, even though he was criticizing me. Even though I gave him the grace to stay in touch with Anne, the return from him and his mother was that I'm not allowed to reach out to my own friend. That honestly sucks, even though I know I'm a free woman. I don't have a lot of friends, and I keep the ones I love very close. So now I'm wondering, am I the asshole for setting that boundary about Anne not being welcome in our home? Straight NTA. There are multiple things in this whole story, and the first and the very important is that he shouldn't have said the trust thing, like, dude, she's your partner, and it should be her who you should trust the most. And I am not saying it as a men perspective or to make him look more bad, but I would say the same thing for women too. Your partner or spouse should be the person you trust most. Now, the second thing I know both men and women do, vent to their friends about the issues they are facing or going through, but one should never overshare or tell the very personal issues to a third person. Now, coming to the part where his mom and him stopped you from talking to your friend, then that same rule should be applied on your husband too by his mom. I don't exactly remember the cartoon, but I remember this line from that particular scene. It was like, when you're looking at the flags through a rose-colored glasses, even red flags look like just flags. It was something like that. And I would suggest you both to go for a good couple therapy. Instead of letting any Anne in your house, it won't make it better. I'll move to the next story, and as you know, comment section is always open for you guys. Am I the butt face? Not forcing my daughter to share? 7 adults, 4 kids, Applebee's. My daughter, 5, ordered pizza with mac and cheese. My sister didn't order anything for her 2 kids, 2-1, since they ate before arrival. Food Drops and my nephew, too, clearly want some of the mac and cheese. I encouraged my daughter to share with her cousin, but she declined. We're working on sharing, which has become more difficult with the arrival of her brother. 1. We give autonomy around sharing unless it becomes mean-spirited or unfair. Then we'll step in. Praise the good, coach the bad. She's a good kid. My sister then places an order of mac and cheese for her son, which takes 20 minutes to arrive. Dinner moves on. The table collectively offers my nephew half a dozen other food options, which he declines. I separately text my sister apologizing and explain that we're working on sharing. I had a conversation with my daughter before bed about the sharing opportunity. Later, I received bookish texts explaining the disgusting behavior, the failed parenting moment, and how my nephew had to sit for 20 minutes watching everyone else eat. If the context is applicable, my nephew has stolen food/snacks off my daughter's plate several times in the past, which left my daughter upset. I don't blame him. It's completely age-appropriate. Am I the butt face? Should I have forced my daughter to share or publicly pressured her into it? Nope, not at all. Your sister needs to learn a basic thing, which is that whenever you go out with kids to a restaurant or any food court to eat, you should order something for them because when the food arrives, kids automatically feel like eating. And it's normal. I wouldn't say that it was your nephew's mistake, but it was your sister's mistake, and instead of realizing it and appreciating you texting her first to apologize for the scene, she just took it out on you. If your daughter didn't want to share her meal, then it's totally fine. She wanted to have it, so she ordered it, and she's just 5. What else you expect from a kid of that age? I appreciate that you are working on her with sharing thing, but your sister needs to work on herself and her kids too. In fact, more on her. That's my take. Maybe some of you guys won't agree with my opinion. I understand that and respect everyone's opinion. Am I the asshole for calling 911 about my husband's suicide threats, even though I knew they weren't real? My husband and I were in a fight yesterday. When our fights get really bad, he threatens to hurt himself. I have to talk him down every time. And then he brings up how I almost brought him to commit suicide or self-harm every fight for the next few months. Over years of this, I've caught on that it's a control tactic when things aren't going his way in a fight. And he especially does this when I talk about leaving him. I've wanted to leave for years, but he always talks me out of it or threatens self-harm. Yesterday, we were driving, and he got angry because I told him to stop being so harsh with our autistic toddler who was having a meltdown. My husband pulled over and started walking and told me to leave him alone. Reactions like this are common with him. He wants me to follow him and beg for his forgiveness. I'm so done with his games, so I didn't follow him this time. I just hopped into the driver's seat and kept driving to my destination. Long story short, When I didn't react the way he wanted, he texted me saying he was a danger to himself. Of course, that got my attention. I have friends and family who have killed themselves, and I'm terrified of the one time I stopped taking it seriously being the one time it actually happens. So I took it seriously and turned around to look for him. He called me and said he just attempted to kill himself. Long story short, I found him completely unharmed. But I took it seriously still and took him home. The whole way home, he threatened to kill himself at home. We have a home defense firearm, and if I don't take him home, he'll call the police and say he's being held against his will. We had our 3 tiny kids in the back of the car, and I was trying to keep things as calm as I could for them as they were watching a movie. I took him home, hoping he was bluffing, and he immediately ran into the house and locked us all out. I decided enough was enough and called 911. 4 cop cars came. It was a whole scene. They separated us and talked to us out on the front lawn. We live on a busy street, and it felt like the whole city was watching. People were flipping U-turns to go back and forth and watch us. The cops said there was nothing they could hold him on because he was suddenly acting casual and fine. I knew deep down this was most likely another performance, but I've had enough, and I wanted him to see how serious this was. Now my husband is angry with me, very angry. Our entire neighborhood is texting him asking what happened, and he says I ruined his reputation and caused him more stress. He says I made things way worse. Am I the asshole for calling the cops about my husband's suicide threats when I knew they were most likely not real? Did I take things too far? P.S. I know I need to leave. I'm trying to gather things and be strategic. I'm a stay-at-home mom and have no income of my own, and I don't feel safe upon leaving. I need to be careful. This post isn't about whether or not I should leave. I am wondering if the 911 call was taking too far. What I genuinely think is that you're not the asshole at all, but your husband clearly is. And you did the very right thing by calling 911. Your husband knows that if he will play those tactics, then you will let the things go his way. The moment you left him on the road, he just pulled out his master stroke and texted you, he gonna do this and do that, whatever, because he knew you gonna come back. And then again, with his master stroke, he can twist things his way. I wonder how awful and damaging this whole scene would be for those poor kids. Like super traumatizing, you're already aware of what you need to do, so I would just say please sort things out soon and leave that asshole person as soon as possible. All right, guys, this is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please hit the like and subscribe button below. It really means a lot to me. Also, feel free to share your opinions in the comment section below. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy. Bye.